Whether you are a holistic health guru or just curious about adopting a more holistic approach to life and nutrition, you are going to want to watch today's show. Dr. Kristen Poe is an experienced holistic health practitioner who holds a bachelor's degree in psychology, an MBA in marketing, a postgraduate diploma in holistic health, and a PhD in alternative medicine. Her work experience includes psychology, pharmaceutical sales, co-owning a business, and now holistic health. She is a holistic health practitioner at Conscious Body Natural Medicine in Holden and Brookline, a holistic and lifestyle consultant at In Balance Chiropractic and Wellness, and she owns a virtual education and holistic consulting practice called Poe Holistic Health. And she's going to share with us the ways that holistic health and good nutrition can truly prevent, improve, and heal many conditions and symptoms that exist. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Kristin.
Thank you for having me. Honored to be here.
What an amazing trajectory that you have had. You started in psychology, yes. Moved into marketing, and I feel like all these things are helping you with your current practice, but give us an idea of that path that you've taken.
Okay, so from a young age, I always had a calling. I knew I wanted to be a doctor. I wasn't sure what kind or how or what, but I knew from a young age, so that was always there. My dad has been a practicing primary care MD for 40 years. He just retired. So, went through college, became very interested in psychology while I was there. So I was like, okay, went through that, did an internship over at UMass Medical School in the psychiatry department, and I kind of had this trajectory like, okay, I want to be a psychiatrist. So that was a plan for a little bit, and then my senior year of college, I landed a internship over at AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals in Westboro. Great gig for a college student in-house, got some great experience, did some interning work throughout my entire senior year. Lo and behold, May came for graduation and a sales position opened up right as I was graduating, and I got a job 2 weeks before I graduated. So sort of the medical school plans and applications got put on hold for a little bit, and I sort of got sucked into that sales role for a while. And I think I was content there at first because I was still around hospitals and doctors and medicine, and I still felt like I kind of was around that, and that made me feel good for a while. And then after a number of years in that, I started getting sort of that feeling like, no, this isn't exactly where I want to be. This is not what I want to be doing. And I was at this sort of turning point in my life where personally, my own health was struggling from the perspective of I just wasn't taking care of myself. I'd gotten out of a difficult relationship, and I was just at this point like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with myself today or tomorrow or the next day? So I did some pretty good soul searching, and I started going to the gym, started taking care of myself, drinking a little bit less. Getting out of college, that was kind of the thing. And while I was at the gym, I was seeing all these just vibrant and vivacious people walking around, these women that just looked so healthy and great, and I'm like, geez, what is everybody, doing in here? So I spoke with one of the trainers and I said, why does everybody look so good in here? I want some of that. And he said to me, go talk to Jen DeCandia. She runs the entire personal training here, and she trains all the girls that compete. I said, compete in what? And she said, fitness competitions. I was like, fitness competitions, okay. So I met with her, and I'll never forget, she said to me, if you dedicate the next 10 to 12 weeks of your time to me, I will get you, I'll change your life, I'll get you ready to be on stage as a fitness competitor.
Wow.
So I said, all right, at that point, like I said, I was kind of in this slump. I said, sure, I'm up for the challenge. So I started changing the way I eat, a way I had never eaten before. I mean, I wasn't super unhealthy, but I had never eaten whole food, this sort of holistic nutrition type diet and nutrition, and trained in a way, worked out in a way I had never worked out before. And she was spot on. Within 12 weeks, she got me on stage competing. I placed second in my first competition, and I won my next competition 3 months later.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you had this was never a dream of yours?
Nothing.
You had never had an inclination?
No, I wasn't even like working out before that. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of feels like you needed something to feel good about yourself, and this was a way of incorporating that. That's wow, what a story.
Yeah, so I worked with her over at Envy Fitness. She's now a dear friend of mine and a patient of mine as well, and through Kathy Savage Fitness as well. I don't know if you've heard of it, but she's a friend as well, and I consider one of the most knowledgeable women in the fitness industry. So
that's fantastic. It's important to have people that recognize that you needed that level of support and encouragement, and that they were there for you. So that's really, congratulations.
Thanks. So that is actually what was the catalyst to getting to where I, am today with the whole holistic health thing. So I was mind blown that just by sort of changing the way I ate, the way I worked out, and the way I thought, could really just, be a life-giving and life-changing experience. And I just was so intrigued by, okay, what is it about this type of eating, and how does it work, and what's the science behind it, and how does this change your physique so dramatically in such sort of a short period of time, depending on what, your current situation. So I started doing my own research and, my own reading, and read books, and I just wanted to learn so much more. So I was like, all right, let me see what's out there for holistic nutrition and holistic health and that sort of thing. So that's when I started studying to become a holistic health educator and consultant, and sort of worked up to getting my postgraduate diploma in holistic health. So I did all that. That took me a couple years, and that still wasn't enough. I was like, okay, so now what? I wanted more. I wanted to also be able to apply alternative medicine, and also ways to help people that are struggling with a variety of health conditions in a more natural way. Sort of my hashtag that I go by, telling my patients this, is holistic but realistic.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I really do believe that some of the best results are achieved when there's a blend of Western and Eastern practices. And my hope is someday that, and I think it's happening more and more, which I'm super happy about, that Western and Eastern practitioners are kind of holding each other hand in hand to give the best treatment for any patient that comes in. Because I just think this whole holistic sort of multifaceted care we can give will only lead to great results.
To better things.
Yeah,
because it's now really has this surgence of positivity, whereas maybe 10 years ago, it was more like, that's something that other people do. I'm just going to take this pill, and this pill is going to cure everything from weight loss to to cancer, and that's the way to go. So people are more receptive to holistic approaches.
Yes, I think now more and more, I think people are looking to either incorporate that in conjunction with what they're currently doing, or maybe a lot of, I think what we see in the office is a lot of people coming in that have been suffering with a variety of sort of chronic conditions. They've been to every specialist, from here to California, to no avail.
Yeah, and it's just not working.
Or they're told, like, nothing's wrong with you, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
So we get a lot of that, sort of that desperate, like, all right, well, this is sort of my last resort, can you help me?
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we are going to be talking with Dr. Kristen Poe about those specific areas of health that holistic practice can really make a huge difference. So stay with us. Hi, I'm Jen Maceda, and you're watching Woman2Woman Today. And on today's episode, we are talking with, if I could talk, with Dr. Kristen Poe. So when we went out on break, you were saying that there are some specific reasons that people come in, and sometimes, they come at the last minute, or where they just nothing else has worked. They've been to a bunch of doctors, and they really want to try a different approach.
Right.
That alternative medicine. Sometimes you are their first entry into healthcare.
Yes.
Tell us about what are some of the different populations and some of the other health issues that people come in for.
Okay, so we see a wide variety: women, men, children. I haven't done a ton with kids lately, but certainly welcome and open to our practice. I love working with new moms or doing sort of pregnancy mommy support. We do a lot of that. But we see pretty much every disease state you can think of. We do some work. We've done some work with some cancer patients, usually in conjunction with Western treatment. Usually a lot of times, like I had somebody a few weeks ago that's currently going to Dana-Farber for treatment and also coming to see us for some holistic support.
So what does that look like? What does holistic support look like?
So basically, holistic health in general, we could do a wide variety of things depending on what obviously their condition is, but anything from obviously a customized nutrition diet depending on what they're going through, along with whole food practitioner grade nutritional supplements. We use only sort of organic whole food supplements that are actually grown, the food's actually grown on a farm with the company we use and then cold pressed into tablet form.
Okay.
So your body recognizes it as basically food. When you're ingesting it, there's no synthetics, no fillers or anything like that. So we do that. We also do herbal medicine, so a wide variety of different herbs and things to support a variety of different conditions, and homeopathic treatments as well, which sort of sort of an abbreviated version of homeopathy is sort of the principle that like treats like. So you're actually giving these very, very dilute forms of whatever it is that you're sort of supporting in a person. We do a variety of different sort of assessments. We do European regulation thermography that actually is a scan that looks at temperature regulations at different organs, tissues, and points in the body to sort of assess the overall health of the body and the state of the body.
Because you were saying that some people just come in because they feel as though they're not 100%. Something is happening. They have maybe no symptoms, but they just recognize in their own body that something is. So walk me through what would happen. Somebody comes in and says that.
That happens a lot. Yeah, good point. Like, I just don't feel, like they'll say, I just don't feel great. I feel like I'm like in this fog, but nothing specific. So we would do a new patient intake form. They'd also fill out an assessment form that answers a bunch of different symptom questions. It's like 100-something questions long, and I think a lot of times people fill it out, they're like, what the heck is this?
I know, that's true. But see, that's the thing. If you don't know what you don't know, then you have no idea how to even describe it to a Western doctor or an Eastern doctor or
happens,
anyone. So you have to have those 100 questions or more, right? Because you need to get at what's really going on. And what's typically going on with people that come in for that reason?
Okay, so 9 times out of 10, it usually has to do with the nervous system being a little bit overactive. So there's, 2 parts of the nervous system. There's a sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is sort of what controls our fight or flight. So if there's a threat to the body, whether it's a real threat, something that's significant, or even something small, our body doesn't distinguish the difference between stress. So if we're sort of in this constant state of stress, our body is just going to not know how to chill out. And it's just going to completely and utterly sort of deplete our adrenals and just leave us in this sort of foggy state of just exhaustion, which we call essentially adrenal fatigue.
So perceived threat, same thing. Like your body
has no idea. It's going to do its thing to counter whatever stressors, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. And we can actually exhaust our bodies with stress. I think that is the biggest takeaway, is that stress should really be characterized as a disease. Because it is, and it manifests in so many pathologies that I think sometimes just by managing and being able to sort of regulate the nervous system a little bit, we can do a lot.
And is that through, give us some strategies, because, having a glass of wine really relaxes things, but that's obviously not the most optimal.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Everyone should have a glass of wine every now and again if they feel like it, and if it's
holistic but realistic, right? I mean, come on.
I'll stop there.
Yeah.
What are some strategies? I just don't want to be getting emails that, hey, I like my glass of wine. Don't ever take away my glass of wine. Right.
So first of all, we would do, I don't know if you've ever heard about applied kinesiology. So it's muscle testing. It's just a way for us to sort of assess, some different organ areas and areas of the body we need to support better. So based on that and, new patient appointment and then their intake form, we're able to formulate a personalized protocol for people through nutrition, herbs, and homeopathy. So we come up with a pretty...
That's very tailored, but is there like some kind of general, everybody comes in and they're feeling stressed. What would you say to our audience? What are 3 things that you should eliminate or do at home or do for yourself that will take you on a path towards maybe not a personalized approach, but something that they could do right now?
Okay, so one of the first things we do obviously is ask people how they're eating and what they're eating, and we look for any kind of triggers that might be in their diet. So the first and foremost thing I tell people is let's work on getting added sugar out of your diets. That can definitely contribute to a lot of stuff that people have going on. If they're eating a lot of sort of saturated fats and high glycemic carbohydrates and stuff like that. So being mindful of, I think, the sugar intake and, the sort of the fried sort of intake. So I start with that, just like small steps. Like, let's work on the next 3 weeks of you being mindful of taking sources of added sugar out of your diet. If they're heavily caffeinated, let's work on cutting back on the caffeine. And then I'll also ask them, what do you do for yourself? Every day or every week?
That's such a great question.
And a lot of times they'll say nothing, or I try to blah, 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 blah. So I have them journal and at least hold themselves accountable to do one thing for themselves every day. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes, just that they're actually making that sort of mindful effort to take 5 minutes to even if it's to sit on their phone and read about something they're passionate about. They love, say, pottery. Okay, let's read a pottery article. Whatever it is. It's kind of a funny example, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Yoga class or just taking a walk by themselves. Whatever it is that sort of drives them, they need to do something for themselves every single day. And also journaling and being mindful. What is it that's triggering the most stress? Like thinking of sort of 3 or 4 things in their life that are the most stressful triggers and identifying those. And then we sort of work from there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Good. Thank you for sharing those. When we come back, we are going to be talking about an exciting new book that Dr. Kristen Poe is releasing very soon. So stay with us. Hi, and we're back on Woman2Woman Today. I'm Jen Maceda, and today we are talking with Dr. Kristen Poe. Kristen, you have a new book that's coming out.
I do.
And it's a children's book, Healthy Heath.
Yes.
Is the character.
Healthy Heath and his magic fruits and vegetables, and this is kind of a crazy story. I literally, about 7 or 8 months, I was literally dropping my daughter off to school one day, and I just had this idea for a children's book. And I literally went home and I sat down for 4 hours and I wrote a children's book. It just kind of spewed out. I was like,
incredible.
All right, I don't know where that came from.
In 4 hours?
Yeah. 4
that's
hours.
Fantastic.
So,
yeah, that was in you.
It was in me, yeah. A big part of what I'm super passionate about is just being able to help other people, families, moms, dads, kids, especially with nutrition and education. And I think one of the best places to start is when kids are young, just sort of instilling some good habits in them. And we all know how much kids love to eat vegetables. We actually all know how much adults love to eat vegetables, right? Some of them.
I think that at least in our family, we had a cleansing of cabinets and refrigerator at a really young age, though. But I mean, too, and they've never missed it. Look, they're backstage right now, so I'm hoping they're not listening to this. But they don't know the difference if you don't provide it. And is that something that you try to educate families? And because the families are the ones that are purchasing the food, or the caregiver is purchasing the food. And if it's there, the child's going to eat it. If you buy the fruits and the vegetables and the healthier things, and then minimize the other thing, they'll always gravitate to the sugar and the sweet. That's just a natural.
That's
right?
a given.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you're absolutely right. Is I think the habits are instilled at home with parents and caregivers and such. But also, I think I wrote the book too to make it appealing, to kids, to be like, oh, cool. Like, Healthy Heath is, he's a little boy and he gets sort of superpowers and gets straight A's when he eats his fruits and vegetables every day. So just to kind of light that spark or get kids excited around the idea of, ooh, like maybe if I eat fruits and vegetables too, I'll, get straight A's. Not for real, but you know what I mean.
There's a positive outcome.
Positive
from doing
correlation
positive for your body.
Yeah. So sort of this encouragement of, eating more fruits and vegetables. So I think that was sort of my inspiration, and sort of using my own anecdotal experience with my 3 girls. The struggle is real, meal times. So I think the key...
And they're all different,
oh,
too.
yeah.
Yes. One is a good eater, one's a picky eater, one doesn't eat tomatoes, the other doesn't eat... Yes.
Seriously.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually, my husband and I have a joke. My older daughter's Gianna. We call her Junk Food Gianna. She's the one that's always asking for sweets.
Yeah.
One of my twins is Valentina. We call her Vegetarian Val because she, doesn't like meat.
Yeah.
And the other one is a carnivore at heart. We call her Meaty Melina. So, yes. Case in point right there.
That's awesome.
That they're all different. But I think the key is just being consistent with offering these types of things to the kids. There's plenty of things I would love for my kids to eat, certain fruits and veggies that they won't touch, but we still keep trying, even if it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think when kids get, like what you said, this sort of positive and sort of passionate outlook about healthier foods and anything we can do to encourage better eating habits is certainly a good thing.
Well, congratulations on the book.
You.
It's coming out soon, so we're going to watch for it.
Yeah.
We can get it on Amazon.
Yes, it will be available on Amazon.
All right.
Target is about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
To be published.
All right. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, such a great conversation. Really, really interesting with some concrete plans that we can incorporate into our life right now. So thank you again.
Awesome.
Please remember to follow, like, and subscribe to Woman2Woman Today on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube so you don't miss the show. Thanks to the entire team at Access Framingham, especially Shavarsh Morrissey, our producer, and Jess Friswell, our assistant producer. I'm Jem Maceda, your host of Woman2Woman Today. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time, where we hope to inspire you.